Dr. Maurine Kwende here. I'm the host of the Empowerment News podcast. For those who are tuning in for the first time, welcome to the show. And those who are already a fan, welcome back. Before we get started, I always do a brief introduction about myself. Yes, I am Dr. Maurine Kwende, your podcast host. I'm also a learning leader, faculty, researcher, speaker, coach, consultant, and author. I'm passionate about empowering leaders to reach their full potential, and I do that through my podcast. I do that also through my academy called the Dream Big and Bold Academy. I do that through my research, teaching books, social media channels, and newsletter. And so if you want to learn more about me, that would be great. You can go to my website, and that's www.maurinekwende.com, www.maurinekwende.com, or you can just shoot me an email at info@emklearningsolutions.com. So today we're still going to be talking about emerging leaders, and today we're going to be talking about overwhelm, right? This is the last quarter of the year, and most people are trying to meet their goals. They're working hard. I see you, and I appreciate the work. And while it's a great thing, and people can start to feel the opposite, right? Because you're juggling too many roles, striving for excellence, you're doing so many things, then you start feeling overwhelmed, especially as an emerging leader, a new leader, right? You start feeling overwhelmed, and then and that starts weighing you down. So for some people, they might even think of quitting. So many other things might happen because they're not being productive, right? And so you start seeing some signs showing, like there's a lack of trust in the workplace. You start seeing them not being as productive as they should. They're not managing their people like they normally would. They're not on top of the task. And so, which can be very frustrating and counterproductive. So that's what we're going to talk about today, right? So some of these tips to help you if you're feeling overwhelmed, right? What can you do as a leader, right? I'm going to share probably like 7 steps or 7 points or tips that can help you to thrive as a leader, right? Not in any specific order, but I'm going to start talking about prioritizing your task and your time, right? You can't do everything at the same time. You got to be able to determine what's most important to you, right? So make a list of everything you need to accomplish for the day, right? And then look at the 80-20 rule, if you've heard about that. Focus on the top or the most important aspects or the most important task first, and then in that order go through the list, and the things that are low on the list, they will be the last things that you have to do. And if it happens that you don't get through to them, that should be fine, because you have already accomplished the most important task. So try to prioritize your task and your time to make sure that you're hitting your deadlines and that you're doing the most important work. So focus on completing the most critical tasks first. So the second thing I want to talk about, or second tip, is breaking it down. So when you're having this, imagine that you are a new leader, or anyone else in society, right? Even if you're a new leader, or you're a progressive leader, or you're a senior leader, when you're looking at very large projects, right, it can be exhausting, scary, it can be daunting. So the way to deal with this so it doesn't overwhelm you is break them down into smaller, more manageable tasks. It kind of like goes hand in hand with the prioritizing task, right? So try to break down things to bite size in a way that you can easily accomplish one, and then you can check it off and go through to the next. If not, you might just feel, okay, this is just too much. I cannot even approach it. The third thing is about time management, right? Try to look for apps, look for ways that, tools that can help you to manage your time even better. I don't know if you heard about the Pomodoro technique, where you focus on 25 minutes of work and then you have a 5 minutes break. So for some people that works for them. Some people block times on their calendar and just focus on that task for that time. Make sure that they're color coded, and then you go to the next one. So find whichever technique works for you, and make sure that you're managing your time. Okay. Now, as a new leader, you might be thinking of, okay, I just need to do this, I just need to do this, I just need to do this. You cannot do everything. Quite frankly, you cannot. So be able to identify the things that you're able to do and delegate. That's the word. Delegate, delegate, delegate. Don't be afraid to delegate tasks to other people, and focus on the things that you're really good at. And so it can lighten your workload and you can feel less overwhelmed. And then give those tasks, the other tasks, delegate to people that they're really quite happy working on those tasks. And so at the end of the day, you're working on things that you're very good at and vice versa. So learn to delegate. I know for an emerging leader, it might be hard to delegate work. I'm going to talk about delegating sometime on the last Friday of this month. Actually, I'm going to be having a webinar teaching on how to delegate for just new emerging leaders. So I would be sharing more information on that. So be on the lookout. And then another thing that goes in hand in hand with delegating is learning to say no. Do not overcommit yourself, right? You cannot do everything. Some people say, well, I'm a multitasker, I'm a superwoman. Look, you cannot do everything. So don't overcommit yourself. Things that you cannot do, politely say you cannot do them and say no. And say you don't have to tell your boss, tell whoever is giving you that project that you don't have the capacity to do that work. And feel okay with that. You don't need to feel guilty saying no to work that you cannot do. And once you're done with what you have scheduled on your plate, and if you can still take additional work, you can go back and ask for more. But then don't take on everything. It's going to make you feel even more overwhelmed. Okay? Practice mindfulness, right? Try to do some meditation exercises. Some people do yoga. Figure out what works best for you. Some people do deep breathing exercises. This helps reduce stress, and it can even help you, gain clarity in your thoughts. For me personally, I would go for a walk. I love nature walks. Then I feel refreshed. Take breaks, right? Take breaks. They're essential for you to maintain focus and prevent burnout. So if you have to step away from work, don't feel guilty. Like I mentioned, go for a walk. I just practice some relaxation technique. You might just do some stretching. Do whatever works for you. Okay. So when you accomplish tasks, just don't keep going and going and going. Always take a break and celebrate the wins, right? You accomplish one task, yay, celebrate, have a happy moment, acknowledge that you achieved something, celebrate it no matter how small. A win is a win. This is going to help to boost your motivation and your morale, all right? And the last thing I would like to share for today is always rinse and repeat. Look through the different tips and tricks, which one really works for you, and then keep doing those. And of course, continuously learn, find different ways that you can continuously improve and feel less overwhelmed. Okay, so that's it for this week's podcast. I hope you learned some tips and tricks that would help you thrive as a leader to become more productive, so you can finish the year strong. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you same time next week. Until then, stay blessed.